It's just two opposite takes. But all right, what's up, everyone? Back again. It's been a little bit, but we're back now. NBA playoff talk starting to heat up. Playoffs are coming around the corner. I got Q here tonight. Q, how we feeling? How we doing?
Doing good, bro. How you been, man?
Been good, man. Been good. We were just talking to NBA. They're having obviously the play-in games, so it's kind of making it very interesting because 10 teams now technically make the playoffs. So not a lot of people are tanking, and a lot of people are like the 6, 7 seeds are not resting guys right now because they have to win to stay out of the playing game, because you don't want to play in the playing game because you could lose one game and be all over. But we're going to start off with top duos in the league. We each can just go through like three. You can start. We had this discussion in our group chat the other day. Like Steph and Clay don't count this year because Clay hasn't played. But the conversation started. It was like, who do you think is a better fit or get along better? And it was Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, or Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. We all agreed it was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But then that kind of sparked the conversation. Like, who do we think the best duos are in the league? You can start.
So yeah, like we talked about in the group chat, you gotta always go with the teams that are playing the best. And right now, I gotta say Chris Paul and Devin Booker are probably one of the best duos.
Yeah.
Chris Paul doesn't get the recognition that he deserves, I feel like.
No, I don't think I think one, since he hasn't won a championship, people hold that over his head. And then two, I think he got way too much of the blame in the whole Houston saga.
Yeah.
Like, when they kind of blew that up, instead of like anyone being like, oh, James Harden is probably the reason too, it was all kind of just like, no, this is all Chris Paul. He didn't want James Harden to be, alpha and all that kind of thing. So I think he gets a bad rep because of that. But yeah, they're tied for the first seed, or like
they're a game back from the Jazz now.
Yeah.
And to that statement about Chris Paul in Houston, like Chris Paul's done well in Houston, and then when he went to OKC this past season, they did pretty good with the roster makeup that they had.
And the whole narrative might be different. Like, if Chris Paul never gets hurt against the Warriors in the first time that they played,
they're up 3-2.
They're up 3-2, completely dominating the series. They had Golden State's number, and honestly, speaking on the Cavs matched up better against the Rockets than they did the Warriors that year.
Yeah.
So the whole NBA landscape might be different right now. He might still be in Houston. James Harden's still in Houston.
Yep.
Who knows where KD is?
That's crazy to think about.
LeBron might still be in Cleveland. So it's a crazy, but I agree. I think Chris Paul deserves a lot more respect.
I think that duo has been playing well, obviously. Just what they've done in Phoenix over the past season or so. That's just incredible. I also think Kawhi and PG have been a good duo.
Yeah.
That also is kind of gets swept under the rug just based on the Lakers and how good the Suns and Jazz have been. The Clippers are right there. Yeah. And Kawhi and Paul George are both all-stars this year. They're both putting up 20-plus numbers a night. I wouldn't sleep on them either. So,
and they're healthy. That's been
they played 60-plus games together.
Yeah, that's been one of the problems last year, and they're healthy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play in the playoffs. Obviously, Paul George has to prove more in the playoffs, but
playoff P.
Yeah, playoff P. But in terms of this season, those two together have played. The Clippers, I think, would be the 1 seed if they've technically played every game together. So that obviously is a very good duo too.
Yeah, so obviously that's a great duo. I'm looking at a list of duos that I wrote down. I think if the Celtics had a better record or a better start to the season, obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are up there.
Yeah.
You can't discredit Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert either. I know Rudy Gobert is not the best scorer, or he doesn't have a crazy offensive game, but it's, I don't know, they're the best team in the NBA right now. So
that, and when you have people who can score, Rudy Gobert is going to get you 15 and 15 every night with 3 blocks. So that's as good as it gets. That duo might be, in terms of just defense, the best defensive duo. Donovan Mitchell can get down and guard, and Rudy Gobert might win he'll finish top 3. He won it last year, but defensive player of the year. So like that duo right there is defensively maybe the best duo.
Yeah.
I like obviously they're hurt right now, but like AD and LeBron when healthy, I mean,
Yeah, they're unstoppable.
yeah, they're like their record this year when LeBron, AD, and even throwing Schroeder for a trio, but like is like I mean, they were like the 2 seed, only a game back of the 1, and then
Yeah.
like everyone started to get hurt. So like that duo, obviously they won a championship last year. That's a very good duo still, but that all hinges on LeBron's being healthy or not. Um, what was the one I was thinking of? It was I mean you can swap KD and
Yeah,
Kyrie or
those three, the
yeah,
big three.
those 3. The biggest problem with them is like they
They
just
just
don't
miss games.
yeah, like Kyrie's got his thing, he doesn't, he everyone knows where he stands on everything, he sits out games. Like that's just, how he is. So and then KD and James, they just can't stay healthy. Like
Not at all.
James Harden was supposed to come back and then he like
He
it's
aggravated it even more.
yeah, it went back to stage 1. Supposedly he's gonna be ready, but like that's Brooklyn's biggest problem. And
I wonder how many games they have played together, like all three of them. It can't be over 15.
no, I think it's like 8 or 10.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, because like right when James got to Brooklyn, obviously KD was hurt, and then
Mm-hmm.
right when KD came back, the first time was when I think Kyrie like took his first like leave of absence, and then during that time was when I think KD like
They've
re-aggravated
all
it.
like just rotated.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean that's obviously one, and then like yeah, I agree with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like if the Celtics weren't playing like shit, they would definitely be higher up on that.
Mm,
Um, I mean you got to throw Joel and Ben.
yeah.
I honestly think you could throw Tobias in there. Like he's a solid 18 and 8 guy. Ben just gets all the jazz. Ben is obviously a great defender, but like scoring wise, I don't think they don't mesh that well.
It's just like the Sixers just underachieve every year,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
groups. So it's like we see the same thing from them every year. Like Joel
yeah.
puts up numbers, Ben puts up numbers, but like what do they do in the playoffs? They get bounced in the second round every year. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like I think for them and kind of the Bucks too with Giannis. Like we
Yeah.
talked about this is like a make or break season for both of those teams. Like if
Mhm.
you lose with Ben and Joel again, then what do? You
Yeah.
just keep going with that?
Well, like they might not have a choice though, because they both
Oh,
are on max contracts. So you have that, and honestly, like I think teams would trade for Joel. Like I don't know, but I don't know though. Like the big man is dying, and Joel is very injury prone. Like
yeah.
the Sixers would ask for a lot. Would you be willing to give up a lot and sign him for a max contract? Like, I don't know how many people would do that. And then in terms of Ben, like Ben has to be in the perfect situation, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah,
so
because
like when
he's a diamond in the rough. Like he's
yeah,
just different. His game style is different.
right. So it'd be the same thing where you'd have to give up a lot and pay him max contract money. And the Bucks, though, like it seems like the Bucks are finally coming to form, starting to play like how
Yeah,
they
they're looking
should.
good. They look
They're
good.
looking. They beat Brooklyn back-to-back nights, and it feels like Chris. That's another one though. Like Chris Middleton, Giannis, or Drew
Mhm.
Giannis. Like you could flip flop either or. Those two are great duos. That's one of the best trios in the league
Oh yeah,
easily. And Drew Holiday, it seems like he's. It took him a little bit to kind of fit in, but like he plays. He's very good defensively.
dude, he's solid. He's
Yeah,
got to be like the best, one of the best two-way guards in the NBA.
for sure. And he's starting to shoot well. I think he's just feeling more comfortable. Giannis is playing like Giannis does. And Chris Middleton, like no one like he's not flashy or anything, but dude, he'll give you
He
25 a
gets it
game.
done.
Yeah.
That's it. Like he's not
Yeah.
flashy. He won't show off his athleticism, but he'll
Yeah.
go out there and get you 25.
Exactly. So like the Bucks are looking good, and like Brooke Lopez, I can't stand watching him play, but like
He gets it done. Like he knows his role.
yeah, but like it was insane. Like I tweeted the other day, I was like, do coaches even look at plus minus? And they were playing the Nets,
Mm-hmm.
and he played like 10 minutes and was like a -17 because they would just run pick and rolls at him.
Oh yeah, he's
and
slow.
whoever, and then like the Nets have like Blake Griffin, KD, like they have guys who are 7 foot who like Brook Lopez doesn't post up people, so that he's not going to take them on the block anyways. So like they're not afraid of him taking him on the block. So he was just so bad. It's like, dude, you got to know your matchups. Like he could play against the Lakers, he could play against like all these other, but like the Nets are probably the worst matchup for him.
Yeah, because they do small ball stuff a lot.
Yeah, and then on top of that,
guards and stuff. Yeah,
I was watching the Nets last night. They were playing the Mavs, and Bruce Brown or what? Brian, what's it? Bruce Brown, right?
Bruce Brown.
Yeah. He was like a -21 in 18 minutes, and they kept him in the last 4 minutes of crunch time. I'm like, dude, like I get
him out of there. Bruce Brown has played well for them, though.
No, I know he has, but like at some point, it's like it just might not be his night, might not be a matchup.
Yeah, like, you got to get him out of there at some point. If he's being that detrimental to the team, there's somebody else that can come in and help.
It was Mike James, or no, he didn't play that well, but it was someone. There was like 2 guys who were coming off the bench, and they were like a +12 in like 15 minutes.
I wonder if it was Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green was playing decent.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, do you guys look at plus minus? I don't know. That stat is always, now obviously it's not always like, it doesn't always tell the whole story, but when you're down 2 points and a guy is a -21,
yeah,
that means you are a +19 the other minutes that he does not play. So
right.
That's insane.
That's bad.
That's the same thing with Brook Lopez. But speaking of, I got 2 things actually now. I brought up my point. So we had the little tweet. We're not going to get into that much, but the tweet that D sent where it was like start one, bench one, cut one, and it was Dame, Luka, Kyrie. I'm out on Luka. I am out on him. He is a phenomenal basketball player. He is one of the best players in the league. I just can't watch him play basketball. He complains every time down the court. Every time.
So you would cut him?
Yeah, out of those 3, yeah. I would take my lumps with Kyrie, bring him off the bench, and I would start Damian. Like Luka is injury prone too, though. So
he complains, but his potential is there.
His potential is insane, and this has nothing to do with his playing ability. I just dude, I swear to God, he got a foul call and still complained. Like he pointed at the ref who didn't call the foul. I'm like, you got the foul. How are
he whines, but
he is one technical away. He is one technical away from getting a 1-game suspension.
I saw that. That's crazy.
And
you got to be able to put up with that. Are you willing to put up with that for having probably one of the best players in the NBA?
No, that would drive me nuts if I was a Mavericks fan. If I was a Maverick fan, it would drive me nuts.
They love him. Luka Magic.
Yeah, because he's good. I agree they love him. But look, everyone can agree LeBron complains a lot. And I'll say it firsthand, he complains a lot. Luka makes it look like LeBron doesn't really complain that much. Like that's how much Luka complains.
Yeah, he complains a lot.
He
complains a lot. I saw it.
And if he's not hitting his shots, like that's the only time he does not really complain. He still does, but like if he's shooting like 75% from the field, he shot I think like 15 free throws last night, and he still complained every time down the court. There was one time he started bitching at the ref. Dwight Powell looked at him and said, "Dude, I fouled him. I smacked him on the arm." And then Luka stopped complaining. And it was like, so you don't even know what you're complaining about. Like you're complaining.
He gives the refs a hard time, man.
And Dwight Powell's like sitting there. He told it. He's like, "Stop. I fouled him. I hit him on the arm." And then he stopped complaining. It's like, come on, man. And then they were coming out of timeout, and Jeff Green got fouled or something. It got he started complaining again. The coach was like, "Luka, I don't even think they're reviewing what you're complaining about." Like it's just it just drove me a lot. It drove me nuts. Like it really drove me nuts. But like I said, one of the best players in the league. My thoughts on all of that has zero to do with his playing ability. I just can't stand watching him play a basketball game because of that aspect. And I feel like it just slowly gets worse. Like I don't feel like last year he was that bad.
I don't think so either, but now he knows his status now.
And I don't even think at the beginning of the year this year he was that bad. I think it slowly has gotten worse. And now that he's gotten these technicals. It's almost he's just like, fuck it, all the refs are against me, so I'm gonna be even worse. So
well, the refs usually give you a lot of leeway. Like there'll be like a media timeout, and like he'll just go right up to a ref and start talking. And a lot of players do that though. But
there was a play last night that I don't know who was calling the game, but he was like, I am shocked he didn't get a technical foul. Like he stopped.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, he didn't run down the court. He starts screaming at the ref, and like he's been complaining all game. So like a ref could easily tee him up. Now there has been some technical fouls this year that have been like, huh? But like,
yeah.
For Luka to have that many tees, like Draymond Green, everyone knows that he's probably got a quick whistle just because he's probably pissed off every ref in the league 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
But like Luka, like he gets more calls than Draymond Green, I would assume, and all this stuff. So like him having that many technicals means like he complained that much. So
yeah, it's bad. I think the NBA needs to review that stuff next year. Like they give the players so much leeway to talk to them. You know what I mean? Like these guys are having straight up conversations with them, like during timeouts, things like that. Like there's just got to be like, I don't want it to be like college or high school, but they gotta just like cut it off at some point. You know what I mean?
Well, you either got to go one way or the other. Like you can't have this middle ground, because then you have players like and this is like no disrespect, but like a Landry Shamet might think he could say something, and then he's like, whoa, you're not Luka, you're not Kyrie, you're not KD, tee up. So like I agree with that part. Like you give like, LeBron and all these guys like very
they got a lot of leeway.
Yes. So then like it's like, oh, I could do that. And it's like, no, you can't. And but moving to the Nets. So I've watched their past 3 games. They played the Bucks twice and the Mavs. James Harden's the alpha dog.
That's what I was trying to prove. I had a text earlier today with Dee and Zach about this, and they were like, I think it's at this point, it's just like, it's determined that James Harden is the best player in that team. Like with James Harden, they're 27-7.
Yeah. And in a lot of those games, he didn't have Kyrie or KD.
That's what I was saying. So I was like, okay, you take the Bucks away from that. You take Giannis away from that Bucks team, and I think the Nets would beat them. And they're like, no, that's not the same thing. And I'm like, well, James Harden's the best player in the Nets. You take the best player away from the Bucks, you don't know. And they're like, oh, well, I just think that if the Nets don't have Harden, they don't have a chance.
I agree 100%.
They don't even have a chance. They might get bounced in the first round. Because that's how bad they are.
KD, as good as he is, and he might be the best pure scorer we've ever seen in the game. Mm-hmm. Dude, we saw in Golden State, it was Steph. Like, it was still Steph's team. Mm-hmm. KD would go for 40, but, like, when they needed the big-time buckets, when they needed all that, and don't give me, KD hit the shot over LeBron. They're up 3-0, down 1 point with 3 minutes left. That's not, like, that big of a shot. Like, come on. Like, but it was Steph. Like, that was still Steph's team.
Oh, it was Steph's team, man.
We go to this, like, dude, the Nets are fighting for a 1 seed, and they get beat back-to-back nights against the Bucks. Then they go on the road, get beat by the Mavs on a game that they were up 4 points going under the 6-minute timeout. And like you said, when James Harden plays, they have the best winning percentage out of any of them. In a lot of those games, KD and Kyrie did not play. Some of them he had one.
That is insane.
James is the alpha dog because it showed like Kyrie does not want to play point guard. I think that's kind of evident. Like he doesn't want to play point guard, but when James isn't in there, they don't he has to. Like they can play Mike James and all that, but they're not going to play those guys down the crunch time. So like Kyrie then moves to the 1, and KD like. First off, I think a wild thing of like people acting like everything, like this guy has not played a complete season in over 2 years.
Yep.
Like it's going to come.
How can you be the best player on the team if you don't play? Like,
but it's going to come to a point where it's like, dude, he's going to get tired. Like he's not used to it. Like you can go through all these workouts and stuff, but like it's not guarding Giannis for 48 minutes and then scoring for 48 minutes, and then coming back 2 nights later and doing the same thing, and then 2 nights later like he's not like his body isn't used
7-game series,
right?
First round, semifinals,
right?
Conference finals, and then the NBA finals,
right?
I don't know, man.
But no, James Harden is the glue to that team, and they can
heart and soul to that team.
They will not win it all if James Harden is not 100%.
No,
I guarantee that. And on top of that, James Harden, before he got hurt, people were saying if he finished out the year how he's playing right now, he could win MVP. That's how good he was playing.
Dude, he was putting up triple doubles. He led the team in assists. I think he led the NBA in assists at one point, didn't he?
I think he did, yeah. Well, especially his time with the Nets specifically, he definitely did. I don't know if they combined both of like what they full seasons he did, but he's the only one who passes. Like Katie,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Nets are a lot more predictable with Kyrie and KD. Like with James, they're a little more unpredictable, and you have an extra all-star on the court that spreads the floor out, and it's harder to guard them.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
You watched the game last night, right?
Yeah.
So the final 3 minutes, they ran iso ball every single play, and the offense had zero flow.
No movement.
Zero flow, no movement.
Nobody crashing the boards. It was just
nothing.
One and done.
Nothing. And
come down, they foul.
Right. And that's why I think like they can't play defense. Like that's evident. And
Blake Griffin hasn't really showed up either.
I just think that's who he is now.
Yeah. He's out of his prime now.
Yeah, like he's just not that good, I don't think. Like now he's a little better than he showed while he was in Detroit, but like, yeah, I just don't think he's that good anymore. Plus, like they asked him to shoot threes. Like he's a terrible 3-point shooter. So like
he's not the same.
Man. Yeah. But no, it's James Harden's team, dude. Like I totally agree with that. I think like watching the Bucks 2 games, I don't think the Nets have a chance if James Harden doesn't play. I'm being serious. I don't think they have a chance.
They don't, bro. And I don't see them either getting past the Sixers either.
Honestly, I think that would be hard too. I agree. And like you could throw in I guess there's not really because I don't really trust anyone else. But
I don't know about Boston.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think they could beat Atlanta too.
Yeah, and the Knicks, like, yeah, I think they could beat them too.
But Philly and Milwaukee for sure will give them issues if they don't have Harden.
For sure, and who knows where he's actually at? Because it seems like the Nets, like, you never actually know where these guys are at in terms of injury status or what. Because like KD was supposed to come back, I feel like 3 months ago, and he just showed up like 2 weeks ago. But
look, dude, the Nets are in trouble, man. They don't have any chemistry going into the playoffs.
No, they're playing.
You're just gonna throw James Harden back in there.
They're playing their worst basketball right now. Like they've lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah. And they lost the 1 seed.
Like I know they had the 1 seed.
Yeah, the Sixers have it now, and I think they're gonna have it for the rest of the ride out.
The Sixers are like 3 games ahead now.
Up 3.5 games.
And then whatchamacallit, the Bucks I think are gonna take the 2 seed then.
That's what it's looking like.
So like they'll have, and with like it sounds like a lot of these arenas are gonna start having more people. Like home court advantage could actually mean something here. Like, like even just some fans, like
and I think even fans are gonna just want to go to the games because they're playing the Nets. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So,
yeah. So
it's gonna be tough, man, for Brooklyn to get there.
The Sixers are 2.5 games ahead. Milwaukee's a half game below, and yeah, the Nets have lost 4 in a row. And honestly, yeah, they lost by 19 to Portland, then to the Bucks twice, and last night to Dallas. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think the Lakers are somewhat in that position where but I think they're in a better position just because it's almost the same team. They won it all last year. They just need to get.
Are the Lakers in the playing game or they're close, right?
No, they're very close.
I think they're tied with the team that is the 7th seed.
The Trailblazers.
Yep.
They're tied for this. They're tied with the Trailblazers. Yes, and they play tonight.
Wow, that's a big game, man.
LeBron's not playing. They're both 37 and 29. So loser moves to the 7th seed. Winner stays at the 6th seed. Yeah, the Lakers just aren't healthy. They have to get healthy. Like I think you plug LeBron in if he is actually healthy, though, not this half-ass bullshit. He has to be actually healthy. I think the Lakers could beat anyone. And honestly, I think the play-in tournament could be okay for them to give them a few games going into the playoffs and a few high-pressure games. Now,
because the Lakers don't want to see the Grizzlies or they don't want to see who else? The Warriors. The Warriors could get hot.
I would not want to play Steph right now.
I would not want to play Steph. Playoff Steph.
Yeah. I think they would be okay with the Grizzlies just because like they're so young. I don't think they really have that.
They don't
And
match up well.
yeah, the Spurs. I don't know. The Spurs kind of suck, but like I honestly like right now if this playoff started today, the Lakers would play the Clippers. That would be wild. But so LeBron said like whoever thought of this should be fired.
Mm-hmm.
In the bubble flashback, he said we have the great teams like the Grizzlies, the Spurs, New Orleans, Sacramento, all these great young teams. Why don't we have a play-in tournament every year with 4 teams?
Oh my gosh! And they actually did it. Oh, they actually did it.
And
Oh,
it
and then
was
now
like
he's retracting it.
yeah, I'm sure it was great when you were the 1 seed, but now that you might play in it, you're like, yeah, I want to know why these guys don't want to fucking be in it.
No. Oh
So
no! I can't believe he did that.
I know. So everyone's like, come on, man. Like you can't go that like you can't flip it that
That's
much.
pathetic, man. Come
Just say
on, LBJ.
you just gotta say I don't want to play in it, and everyone be like, okay, I
Yeah, just say
respect
that,
that.
bro.
Yeah, like
Don't call the guys an idiot. Like,
yeah, exactly. He said they should be fired. You're calling for another man's
and
job.
he's the one that brought up the idea and actually
Yeah,
fell through with it. Now he wants to back out.
right, exactly. That's what's like. It's so
Hey,
crazy, man. It's funny though, but yeah, he's got to get healthy, so that'll be interesting. So who do you think? Like, Do you think Jokic should win MVP?
yeah, I think Jokic still has it.
Yeah, like a lot of people say CP3, and I think CP3 deserves a lot of credit. But like, bro,
He's not putting up crazy numbers either.
If you thought Steve Nash didn't deserve the MVP, how could you at all say Chris Paul does? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
and his Steve Nash's numbers were better than Chris Paul. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Statistically, Steve Nash was better too.
Chris Paul was averaging like 17 and 8 or 9, which is great, and they have the 2 seed. But Steve Nash was averaging 18 and 15 while having like the best record in the NBA. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
Jokic
way
is having
different.
like an insane year still. Like he's top 15 in I think like 6 categories, which is
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be like the only player other than maybe Oscar Robertson to do it. So
And he's actually played games. Like he doesn't miss a lot of games.
I don't think he's missed one.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah. And like it's not like he has bad stats. That's one thing I don't understand. Like everyone who says this stuff, it's like, dude, he's got phenomenal stats. It's just because he's a big man and you probably don't like enjoy watching him play, but like
he's not all over the media. He doesn't like posts and stuff. He's not like super popular. His
right.
game style isn't like enjoyable, like you said. But I mean, he's putting up the numbers and he's played in so many games that the Nuggets are in a good spot. So
Yeah, I think this year playing every game, I think he's played every game. He's played 66. So out of
that's 66. That's all of them.
yeah, so out of the top 30 leading scorers in the league, he has the most games played. But he's averaging 26 26 10 and 8 or 26 11 and 8.
That's insane.
Yeah. On what is it? It is on 56% shooting.
Yeah, he's got to win it, bro.
Yeah, like
8 assists at 7 foot, bro. Come on, man. We don't even have point guards doing that, dude.
I know, like that.
Like you got to give it to Jokic.
Yeah, I mean, bro. That
like you got to give people credit. Like Steph Curry, you got to give him credit for what he's done this season.
Oh, if Steph doesn't miss as many games, like he probably wins it. But like, bro, he's missed so many
a lot of games. Dude.
Where is
James
he?
Harden's missed a lot.
Okay, he's missed 8 games. So yeah,
that's not as bad.
I thought it was way worse.
The Warriors aren't that good, so
no, they're not. I'm trying to find Chris Paul's stats. Oh, here it is.
He's averaging like 16.
Yeah, he's averaging 16, 8, and 4.
Those aren't MVP numbers, bro. Those aren't MVP numbers, man.
Could you imagine if you put a blind resume and put their two together and even said 2nd seed in the West, 4th seed in the West? Like, let's not act like the Nuggets are the 8. They're the 4. Like, they're not that far
in the West, too.
Yes. Like, 100 out of 100 people would all vote Jokic as MVP.
Agreed.
It would. I don't think anyone, because like, if you said best record in the NBA and Chris Paul was averaging 21 and 10, I think maybe.
Or Phoenix was like undefeated or something like that. They had like a Warriors record, like 73 and 9. Then yeah, you would consider that. But like, you're not even the best team in the NBA, and he's averaging 16 points. I mean,
yeah, like he's not even averaging 20. Like I just like, come on, man. Like,
he's having a good season.
His impact is greater than his stats show for sure. Mm-hmm. But he's having, like you said, a good season. That's it. That's it.
Especially for his age, he's having a good season.
Right. But like,
not MVP season.
No. Like, this is a dumb conversation. Like, honestly, like when I saw that, it's like, bro, just give Jokic his due diligence. Like, he deserves it. Like,
I saw Kendrick Perkins was saying Chris Paul should be.
Yeah,
MVP,
bro.
and I was just like,
I thought he was averaging 18 points. Was still, I would be like, no, but like he's averaging 16 fucking points. Like in a league that everyone scores nowadays. Like, so
he's like, yeah, bench players get 16 easy. So
yeah, they average 114 points per game. He doesn't even average 10 assists. Like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? All right, that's all I got. Do you have anything you wanted to discuss today?
No, man, that was awesome, dude.
That was a good show, though. But we'll be back next week. Playoffs start in 2 weeks. The playing game, so we'll have a show next week. We'll probably have a show once a week now here on out until the playoffs are over.
We'll break it down.
But all right, thanks to everyone tuning in. We'll see you all next week.